Well, it looks like comedy is not indeed completely dead in 2025. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you want to call it the highly anticipated, but anticipated or competently surprised. The Naked Gun movie, the Naked Gun Reboot, as some would call it, the Naked Gun 2025, if some would like to call it that, is now out in theaters. And I had the honor of going, I don't know why I would say the honor of it. I paid to go see it. It's not like they invited me. I went to go see it on Thursday night, and I have some thoughts. Obviously, that's why I have said channel. So the Naked Gun Reboot, Naked Gun 2025. Let me just really quickly off the top, let me just say I'm kind of tired of reboots that use the same name as the original film, like Scream or How I Know. Can you, make, especially with the Naked Gun, can't you come up with something a little funnier than just reusing the same name? Come on, people. Not a great start, but it gets better from there. Let's roll that beautiful beep footage, and then we'll get into the review with 3 things I like, 3 things I don't, and then my overall score. So, ladies and gentlemen, The Naked Gun 2025 is based on the Naked Gun franchise, and here is your synopsis. Only one man has a particular set of skills, right, from Taken, to lead police squad and save the world. All right, so this stars Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson, Paul Walter Hauser, who I just saw in Fantastic Four, so good for his agent actually getting him back in films, Danny Houston, and a bunch of other people, because there's really nobody else in the film after that, which is fine. Small cast, I like that. Not as many people involved. So, the reboot of the Naked Gun film, it tries to resurrect the old slapstick reverent spirit of the original franchise in a modern age that's increasingly hostile to incorrect humor. That's why we lead the beginning of this video with the idea that humor is not indeed dead, but it was on life support for about 10 years, from about 2014 to 2022, 2023. Only in 2024 and beyond have we started to see comedians and comedy actually start to return to its roots of indeed offending everybody. While the film does have some entertaining moments, and it does, there are some jokes that land, there are some recurring jokes that land, and I will say, as a matter of fact, I was in a theater with a good amount of people for a comedy in the beginning of August. This is not like Superman or, like the days of yore where Thursday night screenings were packed, but it was a decent enough crowd. Everybody in the theater had a good time. Everybody was laughing at some joke or some punchline or thing that they were going for. So I have to make that's an anecdotal bit, but I have to at least mention that. It does struggle to balance nostalgia with Hollywood's current ideological demands. It's not, some will say woke is dead, Naked Gun is bad. It's not like that. Woke is not dead. Anybody who tells you that is actually not very smart. But that's a different topic for a different time. So there are some positives here. So let's get to our 3 positives. First positive, it does push back and represent a resurgence against, not an elimination, but a resurgence against woke ideology and woke culture. The film does poke fun at everybody. Now, they may be easier targets, but it's not just whites bad, ha ha ha, straight men, ha 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 kind of stuff. Everybody outside of the group, the message, gets made fun of. It does at least attempt to be more generous with spreading around the humor. So we can say that. It does poke fun at some modern sensitivities, some political correctness, a little bit of virtue signaling, bureaucrat nonsense. It does have some credit for trying to at least present itself as a universal comedy, meaning that it should be, everybody who watches it should find 1 or 2 jokes that land pretty well. So that I will say that is a positive, and I will give it the positive that the fact that it's an actual comedy in 2025. We really haven't had an actual low budget, mid budget comedy film come out in a long time, because most of them just get kind of dumped on streaming services now. So we don't, most people say, oh, did you see this movie? Nobody knows because there's 9,000 different streaming services. So at least dropping this back in theaters gives everybody a chance to see it. That's positive. Slapstick and wordplay. It may, you and I growing up, depending, I'm 44. If you're in my age bracket, or maybe a little bit older, a little bit younger, we grew up in the slapstick comedies with the Tommy Boys and the Adam Sandler movies and all these kinds of things. And even before that, in the 80s with the classic comedies. So to us, some of these jokes may not land as hard as they potentially would to younger audiences that have never seen them. And that's what I'm trying to introduce this as a positive. The wordplay, the slapstick. You and I may like, oh, that's funny. Okay, yep, I see that. You chuckle a little bit. Yep, I see what you're doing there, and that's pretty cool. I like the fact that you're doing that. I like the fact that you're doing that now, because everybody for a while thought it was cringe or cliche or overdone. That it almost potentially became lost. So it's great for Gen Z, Gen Alpha, to be introduced to these jokes. For a long time, these jokes were just passed down through Kids in the Hall and SNL and all these other kinds of improv comedy shows. Whose Line Is It Anyway? Back in the day when those things were more focused on comedy. Since we were bereft of comedy for so long, people don't need this stuff is non-existent to them. So now they get to see it, and that's great. So some of it was pretty funny. Some of the wordplay was pretty good. And so it lacked agenda, and it focused on trying to set up jokes and land the jokes. Not every joke lands. That happens. But as I keep saying, and I'll say it again in the positives, I want my comedies to try to be funny. I don't want them to try and make some kind of tongue-in-cheek political statement and pass it off as humor. This is humor for humor's sake most of the time. A lot of pun-based humor. There's one running gag throughout the film that doesn't get old. It's actually quite funny, the ways they try to fit it in, and I like that stuff. And it's light, and it's humorous, and you know what it is? It's fun, and that's something that movies have not been in a long time. You could say, I'll give this third one more of a pro law enforcement undertone. And the reason I say this is because, in contrast to propaganda and stuff like that, every single show in the last 5 years that's had anything to do with the police has been police bad, blah, 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 blah. It just returns police officers. It humanizes them in a way. It's not propaganda like 24 or Law and Order, any of these other kinds of things. And it's not police are the dirtiest, awful people in the world. The police, it's a job. It's a job, and they are human beings, and they do the job. If that makes sense, let me know if that one makes any sense in the comment section down below. I like that because it humanizes this profession, saying, listen, they're people. They do good things. They do bad things. They have senses of humor, and so forth. So that's that. It's kind of a strange point. I can emphasize it or go on about it in the comment section if you'd like me to. But that's a positive. Pro law enforcement, or just humanization of agendas in places. Like on the right, cops are back to blue no matter what, and then on the left it's like ACAB. And it's good to see a movie actually use cops as the job and not use as they're cops, so it's this agenda or that agenda. It's a funny movie and they're cops doing silly things. Okay, that's fine. We need to go back to workplace comedies across the board. So those are 3 overall positive things. I think those are really good. Let's get to some negatives here. There are some modern tropes that the film just cannot escape. For every joke that does land, another that feels like it's a checkbox for the Hollywood agenda. And those are the ones that don't land as much. It's almost, you can feel sometimes in the script that it's negotiating. Okay, we want to have this kind of edgy joke, but we got to have this joke too. Okay, we want to make fun of this group, but we got to make fun of this group too. And if it's done right, if the writer is stronger, you don't notice it as much. I'm not saying the script is bad. It just feels like some of the jokes had to be negotiated in order to save other jokes. Characters and storylines are shoehorned in to reflect identity politics rather than organic storytelling, which is just a problem for modern Hollywood overall. So they have to deal with that. Second point, from a conservative's point of view, the idea of moral ambiguity played for laughs. The film will trade clear notions of right and wrong for crude gags or edgy humor. There's little moral backbone beneath the satire. It's just jokes. Good satire can have a nice moral backbone to it. And this one, because it's trying to just be light, irreverent, and funny, it takes everything lightly, irreverently, and funny. And some people may see that as a good thing. But if you can really land the plane on it, I think it would have taken this movie from my rating to I have it as good. It would have just absolutely knocked it out of the park. So that's something that I noticed. And then finally, kind of in line with the second point, it's very safe. I know it sounds strange for me to say that, but there's no risk taking here. There's nothing outside of, it's a PG-13 movie and they play it within the PG-13. No swearing. For my Catholic brothers and sisters, the Lord's name is not taken in vain once. There's no implied sexuality. And if it is, it's so over the top and ridiculous that you can't even take it seriously. There is one scene with thermal goggles that if you are particularly sensitive to that type of stuff, you may have to just kind of look at your popcorn for 5 minutes, or if you're watching it on streaming or have VidAngel, just, program it for that. Outside of that, it's very paint by numbers. And that can lead to not great rewatch value. It might be a good film to watch in the background while you're doing things, but it doesn't have true rewatch value that, the classic, like I can watch Tommy Boy to this day. I can watch Happy Gilmore to this day. I can watch Super Troopers to this day and still fall out of my chair laughing at the gags, even though I know they are coming, because they were truly funny. In this movie, because it doesn't ascend, even the first Naked Gun, I watched that the other day, hysterical. It doesn't ascend to the risk-taking part where you just, you don't go over the line, but you're on right to the line on comedy. This one doesn't even come close to the line. This thing, if the line is the Pacific Ocean, this thing is in Cleveland, Ohio. That's how far away from the line it is. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it is something that holds the film back from truly being great. So, what's my final overall verdict on Naked Gun 2025? It is a mixed bag. It is a return to humor, and that is a positive. But it is a half-hearted attempt to return. It wanted to make sure that this film was safe enough to be open to everybody. And I get it, safe comedy is good. It is good, and we want to have comedies in the theater. We want to have the mid-budget films return to the theater. These are all good things. But at the same time, there is potential for different things and different storylines and different jokes that could have hit. I did laugh. There were some points where I did laugh and I chuckled throughout the film. So I will give them that. That's the most any Hollywood comedy has done for me in a long, long time. But it is held back by the fear of offending certain groups. The fear that the movie might not do well either, so it's trying to play it safe. It doesn't have enough confidence in the fact that comedies can do well, and I get that, but at the same time, it doesn't go as far out as it could. For general overall audiences, like the audience I was with, they enjoyed it, and I think most people who will go to see it will like it. Conservatives, it's not offensive to conservatives. I will say that. It is not offensive. The most offensive thing to me as a conservative was seeing Dave Bautista in it. Sorry, spoiler. He showed up and I'm like, because I don't like that guy. But outside of that, it was fine. It doesn't have high rewatch value. It happens. That there are a lot of comedies that come and go. Doesn't make them bad. Doesn't make them bad at the time. They're just not the classics. So, good, bad, or indifferent. This film's good. It's not very good, but it's good. And if you went to the theater, I think you would have a good time. When it comes out on streaming on Paramount Plus, if you have that, it's definitely worth like a Sunday afternoon watch if you have the time. So that is my review of Naked Gun 2025 here on Rickcast Reviews. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on this show today. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit that notification bell. It does help, even though we all YouTubers have to shill that way. So if you like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, as I will be dropping more reviews of different TV shows and films as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here on Rickcast Reviews. Y'all stay safe out there and stay classy, internet.